Hey everybody, it's Frida. It is September 26th. How you doing? I had several ideas on things I wanted to do a video about tonight, but I'm going to keep it to the one most prominent thought in my head. I'm not going to debate with you about if this beheading in Moore, Oklahoma today was jihad related. I'm not going to debate with you too much of anything about it. Okay, was this man newly Muslim? Did he know what he was doing? Was he jihadist, or was he just a disgruntled employee because he had recently been fired and just wanted to take revenge out on random co-workers? I used to have chickens and turkeys and French guineas. And on a few cases, there would be a bird that was butchered, that I had the privilege of doing what I could to it. Now, a chicken's neck, at best, guinea's neck, turkey neck, and a human neck is much bigger. Chickens have very few characteristics biologically compared to a human, obviously. When you're removing the neck of one of these birds compared to removing the neck of a human, there's fibers and I'm sorry, I know I can barely get all this out. What's in my head is not easily expressible. In the spinal cord, in the back of the neck, along with the bone, there are these very tough, the spinal cord fiber things, nerve endings, but the brain sends the impulses down, whatever. Anyway, they're tough. They're really damn tough, okay? Now, you go cook a turkey for Thanksgiving dinner and you start slicing into it, the meat slices fairly easily. It's cooked. I challenge you to go buy a raw bird and start cutting away on it, especially the head, neck. So whatever it takes to do that to a bird is going to be that much more process-wise to cut a human's head off. We're not talking a guillotine. We're not talking an axe. We're not talking a machete. We're talking this man had a knife. I have a lot of friends that have been, they're veterans, and I've got some friends that have been in some brutal situations, not veteran related, but domestically speaking. And I don't even ask questions because I know, unless they just want to tell me, I know that they know that it's very hard to put into words certain experiences unless you've experienced them. You can say to me all day long, bombs bursting in air. Closest thing I got to it is fireworks on the 4th of July. I can imagine, but my imagination is only capable of going as far as my experiences, for the most part. So it's hard for me to try to explain to you, and I'm trying to put some of the medical factors into it, biological factors of cutting a person's head with a knife. Your ass has got to be dedicated and determined to get that head off. It's, God, I don't want to sound so gruesome, but I just have this need, I guess, to get you to understand this point, because there's only so much that the news can and or will say. And right now it was a beheading. Guy may have been involved with Islam, blah, 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 whatever. But poor lady, her head was cut off. And he was on his way to the next one, and he was stabbing the next lady, and thank God the COO of the company happened to also be an undercover off-duty police officer and had a gun. They keep leaving that out, that he's a COO of that company, but he is. And I can't imagine what he ran into when he came into that area. So he's stabbing the second woman, and he shoots the man. She probably would have lost her head. Or somebody else would have. Who knows? Was it jihad? Was it a disgruntled employee gone postal who just happened to think, well, if I'm going to go postal, I might as well go on and please Allah and get my virgins? I don't know. You don't know. But isn't it ironic? Such a gruesome, difficult. It's way easier to shoot somebody. Way easier to smash them over the head with a brick. So many options. You can kill a person before you cut their head off. A person can still be alive through the majority of their head being cut off until you get to those cords in the veins. I know part of what I'm saying isn't even making sense, and I know that I sound like I'm kind of babbling right now, and perhaps I am. But for a person to go to that extreme, who just happens to have recently converted to Islam, who just happens to have been trying to convert these same people to Islam, it wasn't just anger. It couldn't have been just, I'm going to go in there and kill everybody. You don't have time to kill everybody when you're cutting a head off. It takes a moment. It's not like that. It takes a little work. Hate to be descriptive, but it takes some slicing. And that is why, personally, correct or incorrect, I'm going to go with the theory that perhaps it wasn't initially jihad. But he probably decided that he might as well go that route if he was going to do anything at all. And quite frankly, that scares the shit fire out of me. It does. Not a fear of, not an enabling fear, an awareness fear. So frustrating, because I go from wanting to work in a certain direction towards a certain problem, and then we gotta go this way, and then we gotta go that way. It's all these left turns and right turns, and it just feels like any direction you look, we got serious problems. I had heard on a previous conversation on Facebook on a post about all this. Somebody popped on there about fear-mongering. No Muslim would ever do such a thing. And I spent a little time looking up some Quran verses from both views. I found this one website, and it was for Muslims here in America to ask Muslim leaders. I'm not sure what their religious technical name is, but elders, questions like, some of my friends that I've tried to talk to about Islam have said, but Islam promotes terrorism. How do I respond to that? And this person was giving these students of Islam the answers to give. It was pretty interesting. I also found some websites on the other end of the spectrum, quotes from the Quran, verses of the Quran, talking about killing the infidels and such. And to be honest, most of the passages were not as direct and negative as I expected them to be, and a couple of them were worse. But to be fair, in the Bible, the King James Bible, there's some crazy talk in there as well. And though I believe in Christianity, and I believe that Jesus existed, and I believe in a creative force, my interpretations vary greatly from Christians. So I have to give pause to realize that there are obviously people within the Muslim religion who are probably the same way. Maybe they interpret some parts slightly and other parts boldly. Maybe they've picked and choose what they want for themselves out of the religion. I don't know. But I know that this man took the time as a Muslim to hand cut the head off of a woman and was on his way to the next one. And I know that is so gruesome of an act, so violent of an act, so gruesome. You have to be either mentally screwed up, or you have to be hardcore jihad to do it and get through it and move on to the next one to do it again. So that's my thoughts on the woman that was beheaded. Colleen Hufford, age 54. Thank God for the Second Amendment, and thank God that COO did not work in a gun-free zone where there'd be a few more dead people.